We do, of course, have the latest in business and sports as well coming up. Marisha Owiti is our sign language interpreter tonight.
Now let's begin with what some are calling a big deal and others accepting as a mere middle ground.
That's right. County governments will share 258 billion shillings in the 2015-2016 financial year.
Now this comes after the governor sent out feelers last week indicating that they would not be comfortable with the 248 billion shillings figure floated by a treasury then. Now
today's deal that was reached in the presence of Deputy President William Ruto also comes against the backdrop of the governor's Pesa Mashinani campaign demanding a minimum of 45% of the current national revenue.
The Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council meeting, chaired by Deputy President William Ruto at his current official residence, agreed on county's revenue allocation for the next financial year starting July. In the 2014-2015 financial year that ends June 30th, the national government released 229.3 billion shillings in equitable share to county governments. In the next financial year, the equitable share to county governments has been increased by 32 billion shillings.
We've agreed to raise the equitable share to 258 billion. Now that clears the way for us to finalize the documents that we are going to submit to Parliament before the deadline, which is February 15th.
Governors have often complained the allocations are inadequate to transform counties. Through the Pesa Mashinani campaign, the Council of Governors has already drafted a bill that seeks to increase allocations to counties to 45% of their current national revenues. If revenues allocations were to be pegged on proposals in the draft bill by the Council of Governors, county governments will have received an equitable share of 499 billion shillings in the 2015-2016 financial year. The Jubilee administration is strongly opposed to the Pesa Mashinani campaign.
I think we have agreed generally that Pesa Mashinani will be put on hold until further notice. But I think that was not a subject of this meeting.
Yes, it was not discussed.
The rising wage bill and how to tame it was addressed by the Budget and Economic Council. To ensure prudent use of public funds, a proposal has been included in the draft Public Finance Management Regulations that will ensure the total wage bill for the county governments does not exceed 35% of the county's total allocation, both at the executive and assemblies levels.
To conclude the conversation of how to contain the growing wage bill, the Ministry of Devolution will convene a meeting within the next 5 days to discuss the progress on the ongoing Civil Service Rationalization Program called CAPS at the national and county levels.
When President Uhuru Kenyatta recently launched the government program on leasing of medical equipment in Level 4 and Level 5 hospitals in all counties, governors skipped the event, claiming they were not consulted. At this special Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council session, governors agreed to support the program subject to a modalities meeting between the Ministry of Health and Council of Governors.
We as Council of Governors have not been against the medical equipment scheme. Indeed, we approved and agreed at a meeting in Naivasha on the soundness of the idea. What we were only requiring were the details, and we've agreed that we'll look at the details. We'll organize a meeting with the Ministry of Health, and we believe those issues that are pending will be sorted out.
Governors also managed to shield themselves from constant heat directed on county governments over use and misuse of public funds. The session resolved that the control of budget will henceforth release both national and county implementation and progress reports simultaneously. Patrick Amimo, KTN.
And that story certainly brings us to our big question tonight. If you remember, the governors have been pushing for a referendum, and this referendum was supposed to ensure that the counties get more money. Now, in our big question tonight, we are asking you, do you think that after this deal that has been reached today, do you think the governor's referendum is still necessary? They did not get the exact amount that they were asking for, but they did get something.
That's right.
The question we're asking is, do you think that the governor's referendum push is still necessary?
Yes, Wilson, as you rightly said, 258 billion is what they've been granted right now, but they were asking for 45% of national revenue, and if I'm correct, that would come to about 499 billion shillings. So it's quite a huge disparity. discrepancy, although some are saying this is a good middle ground to work with. So give us your thoughts, and you can do that by tweeting us at KTN Kenya, at Kachungera, and at Wilson_Mburu. Or you can send an SMS, 22155. That's the number. We look forward to hearing your thoughts on that this evening. Now, as we move on to the Homa Bay elections, which are slated for tomorrow, security is tight in that area ahead of that senatorial by-election. As of close of business today, ballot boxes were being dispatched to the various polling centers in the country. We've got Victor Ogale with more.
For over 3 weeks, Homa Bay County has been a beehive of electioneering activity, with candidates trying to woo voters for the senatorial by-election. The seat fell vacant following the demise of Ochino Kajwang. After the official campaign period closed Tuesday night, Homa Bay town was calm Wednesday, with residents going on their businesses, awaiting the by-election on Thursday. There was heavy police presence in the county, with security officers patrolling Homa Bay town and others expected to be deployed to other parts of the county. At the IBC offices, it was a rush against time as presiding officers and polling clerks picked the election materials and equipment before traveling to the various polling stations. Homa Bay County has a total of 326,505 registered voters out of 8 constituencies, with a total of 878 polling centers. There are 8 candidates in the race for the Homa Bay Senator's seat. Victor Ogale, KTN, in the county of Homa Bay.
Let's go to football matters now. And a supremacy battle between the Football Kenya Federation and the Kenya Premier League has reached a new high, and Kenya appears headed for a parallel Premier League. The tug of war between FKF and KPL has signaled the return to the old days. Both parties have now unveiled their league fixtures, with FKF's fixtures having 18 teams and KPL's listing showing 14 teams. Though Football Kenya Federation Chairman Sam Nyamoya had embraced dialogue to end the impasse, today's development clearly indicates that a parallel league is inevitable. Hassan Juma explains.
The give and take scenario that was presented to Kenya Premier League and Football Kenya Federation by the world governing body FIFA born of roots and a parallel league is looming. Football Kenya remains adamant that the FKF Premier League will kick off this Saturday, even while KPL had said February 21st as the kick-off date. Wednesday's DSTV Super Cup curtain raised the 2015 season, which appears loaded with confusion.
I have agreed with FIFA that I'll make another attempt. We will make another attempt. Our dialogue position is still open for our colleagues, our members. You know, our member are those clubs.
FKF treaded on safe ground while structuring the fixtures. The promoted teams Nakumat, Posta Rangers, Kakamega Homeboys and Shabana have been scheduled to play on Sunday and Saturday, while the other 14 teams which have pledged allegiance to KPL are scheduled to play on Wednesday next week. But what remains as a wait and see, since most of the team officials KTN spoke to on telephone committed themselves to KPL League. Gor Mahia, who plays Synapse of Madagascar on Saturday in a CAF Champions League match on Saturday, has not been allocated a match in the FK fixtures. In what borders on avoiding legal tussle, FKF insists that they will inherit all the contractual agreements from Kenya Premier League Limited, and that SuperSport and league sponsors Tusker will not be affected by the new developments.
We are splitting our products and selling them to everybody. SuperSport can buy, anybody else can buy. Nobody has been locked out of this.
Those contracts which were done by KPL, we allow them to be ferried and brought to, so that amendments can be brought to FKF Premier League.
FKF declared war on KPL after the latter refused to accept a proposal for an 18-league team in 2015. The National Association, during an SGM in Kakamega, dissolved KPL and warned match officials against taking part in any competition organized by KPL. The bone of contention claimed that the millions of shillings pumped in by pay TV channel SuperSport to KPL is the root cause. FKF has announced that it has sourced for a new sponsor that will bring in $2.5 million per year.
KPL is no longer a member, and I think I want it very clear, because when we had our special general meeting in Kakamega, our recognition of KPL was terminated.
FKF had cancelled the DSTV Super Cup match between Premier League title holders Gor Mahia and the GoTV Shield winners Sofapaka. But the match went on as scheduled. FKF has warned clubs that will participate in another league other than the FKF Premier League that they will be replaced. FKF has warned clubs that will participate in another league other than the FKF Premier League risk being replaced. Hassan Juma, KTN.
Certainly, certainly a very serious situation developing here, because it might mean that Kenya might get banned from participating in international football by FIFA. And to help us understand this, we have Moses Wahisi, who is a sports anchor. He's in our sports studio and is going to be speaking to the chairman of the finance committee, FKF, who is George Odhiambo. Moses, what are the repercussions we are looking at here now?
I think it's like we're going to go to the 2007 where we had momentum for some time, a two-league season. I think it's something that Kenyans need to take seriously, because maybe the future of the players and also some of these clubs is in jeopardy, something that we really don't want to see. Maybe the government might step in, we might get banned for some time. It's a very disturbing state of affairs. Yeah.
All right, take it away.
Thank you very much, Wilson. I'm joined by George Odhiambo, the chairman of finance committee, and also a very own associate sports editor, Robin Tolskin. And Robert Asembo is claiming that he's still on the way. We hope he's going to make his way and tell us the side of FKF. Probably a very sad state of affair we are going to see in Kenya here. Probably I start with you, Robin. Actually, what is troubling soccer here in the country?
I think it's about dishonesty on the part of both sides, Kenya Premier League and FKF. They have failed, to come out clearly and tell the country that the issues that we've differed on are A, B, C, D, so that if there's anything they want the country, to help them, to break down this stalemate, then the country can step in. But as it is, nobody is coming out clearly and say this is the issue. What they're just doing is just politicking.
Actually, what is your case from the Kenya Premier League side? Because 16 team, 18 team, where's the problem? What's the genesis of the problem that we are facing in the current leadership in Kenyan soccer?
The genesis of this is in October last year, when all of a sudden the Football Kenya Federation came up with the 18 teams, whereas at the beginning of the season the regulations were 2 teams to be relegated, 2 teams to be promoted. Surely you cannot come at the end of a season and decide that now we are promoting 4. If they wanted the 18 teams, why didn't they say we promote to hold the 16 that were there? If it was a genuine case. The issue here actually is also a matter of quality and quantity. They are talking of quantity, we are talking of quality. The more number of teams we have, the low quality we have of the game. And we want to improve the game of Kenya quantitatively. Yeah.
Probably, Toskin, is there a better way of solving this issue than having 2 parallel leagues, which majority of Kenyans are seeing that is what might happen in a few days to come?
A way can be found out, but I'm surprised again, George Odhiambo here, you are saying that it was a sudden thing, but I remember that in 2013 there was a strategic planning meeting in Naivasha where Kenya Premier League and FKF were both involved, and I remember covering that event, and I saw Bob Munro, the chairman of Mathare United and a member of the governing board of Kenya Premier League. I also saw the CEO of the Kenyan Premier League, and then throughout that process we got information, and in fact when you had your AGM at Kenya School of Management Studies, that idea of 18 teams was discussed. So when you say that it was a sudden thing, it brings all that confusion.
I think KPL refuted those claims. So probably what's your take on that?
I can still refute that. And if you look at the signed minutes of the AGM at the Kenya School of Monetary Studies, and I was there, and I'm the one who responded to one Robert Mudiomi, who asked about why can't we increase the 18 to 18 teams. And we talked, the strategic plan that was presented did not include financials and other logistics. And the president of the federation stated that yes, we'll come back with a strategic plan that addresses those issues.
But people say that money is a big factor. It's not necessarily about the 16 or 18 teams. It is claimed that the money that the broadcasters that probably will come in, that is where the interest is.
Money plays a big factor, but there are other logistical issues. Money plays a big factor in that the rights that have been sold belongs to the clubs. The clubs, as you all know, are already complaining they are not getting enough money to survive in the league. Our stadiums are not yet full, and most of the clubs complain that they spend more than they receive during their games. So adding 2 extra teams, that adds 66 more games. That's 4 more games per club, and that's an additional cost per club. Yet the returns are not there. The contract we have at the moment is the one that was signed in 2010, so it cannot be increased.
Toskin, probably is saying that the clubs cannot be increased, but looking at what FKF Premier League is doing and now what KPL is doing, is a rift that maybe might kill the future of Kenyan soccer?
Yes, definitely it will do, because already FIFA have said that anything other than just one Premier League played in this country will attract or will bring about, a suspension from the world governing body.
Yeah, I think Robert Asembo, the Vice President of Football Kenya Federation, has joined us.
How are you, Aisi?
I'm very fine. Few minutes late, but glad you are able to.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Toskin, you can.
Yeah, I was saying that, of course, there will be ramifications. If FIFA discovers that we are running 2 parallel leagues, of course, they will sanction this country. They will sanction their member, not actually the country. They will sanction their member, which is FKF. And that brings about the question that really, from the 2 bodies that are here, don't we understand the rules? Don't we understand the statutes of FIFA that says that they only recognize one federation, and if they are going to organize that league, it's that league that the FIFA is going to appreciate.
Probably, Bonasembo, you had said that maybe today the DSTV Super Cup match was not going to proceed. Probably some people are saying that is one way of showing that FKF is losing this war, because it's clearly a war that it's between FKF and KPL.
Well, rules are rules. They are written in black and white. The fact that we have certain prescribed offenses in the penal code doesn't mean that the courts of Kenya have ceased having criminals being charged. So those who arranged that cup, the referees who officiated that cup, we had done a bit of reminding them of the law. They have done contrary to the law. They should expect consequences according to the law.
Probably, what's your take about this issue of 18 teams? Why is it that FKF cannot relent and say, let's proceed with the 16 team? Or what brought the rift between FKF and the KPL? Because the FKF and the company KPL have been working for some time now.
I think it's clear that as FKF we have had a strategic plan, and we've been moving well with our plans. From 2013 June, we said we'll host Sekafa and win it. We won Sekafa after 10 or so years. We achieved that. In 2014, we said the same strategic plan that will implement the NSL, National Super League, implemented in 2014. In 2015, we were to effect the 18-team league. Now there are some entities who think that they must oppose FKF when you want to effect our strategic plan. These entities, we've had the honor and given them a lot of privilege to engage with us, but they are living to the old Swahili adage of Asante Apunda ni Mateke.
Probably, I think you'd like to respond.
I would like to respond to that. Mr. Vice President, thank you very much for that comment. And you are saying these entities are your members and are paid up members. Can you deny that? You receive the monies from the
I want Kenyans to get it very clear. We have KPL being used synonymously to mean two things. There's the KPL Kenyan Premier League and there's KPL Kenyan Premier League Limited. The latter is the entity.
Okay, maybe
but the league is our product. The league is one of our other 6 other leagues which we manage in this country. Kenyans elected us to run football in this country. We manage football through those leagues. The top tier is also called Kenyan Premier League. But there's a limited liability company called KPL also, which I want Kenyans to get it clear. It is this company that is giving us problems, not the league which has clubs who are our members. It is this limited liability company which can sign a contract with SuperSport in 2010 without any authority. When I was walking in, I heard George, my very good friend George, saying that they have rights belong to the clubs. He should read Article 78. The rights belong to FKF and its members.
That's
so
very
the
good.
members of FKF, the members of FKF, George should again read Article 10(1) of the FKF Constitution.
Can I respond
we have
to
the
that?
Premier League clubs, we have the Super League clubs, we have the Referees Association, we have the Coaches Association, we have Division 1 clubs, we have the 20 branches.
Yeah, I know, and that list continues. Probably, what's your take on those sentiments?
Article 78, my Vice President here likes quoting Article 78, which is a replica of Article 78 of FIFA. Yes. Article 78 of FIFA says FIFA and its
members and confederations.
Members of FIFA are the confederations.
No.
So members of FIFA
Let
are the
me correct you because it is in my interest to get it right.
Let me just continue.
You will continue, but 2 seconds of correcting
No.
2
Just
seconds.
when you are talking, I was not
Let
talking.
us quote the law properly. When you misquote the law, when you misquote a legal provision,
you want to quote the law to suit
dangerous.
you.
No, it is written in black and white.
Probably
written in black and white.
Maybe I'll give that voice of reason that actually Article 78 says that the rights originally belongs to its FIFA and its members. So when you come down to the federation level, then it belongs to the federation and its members. So you are talking about the federation as the entity and also the clubs. But what the federation is saying is that we've got to make a distinction between a private limited company and the member clubs that form that Premier League.
Let me take another different twist on this.
Because I'm happy with your interpretation.
Let me take a different twist because Kenyans are saying that a lot of the people who are in soccer leadership are doing it because of money. The interest is money. KPL have been, people are saying that it's because of the approximately 1.5 billion shilling that comes with SuperSport. The same in FKF, they say it's about the 2 billion shilling that might be coming with the media entity.
My answer to that is TAS. FKF runs the women leagues, various cadres of them, including the Women Premier League. FKF runs from the National Super League all the way to the ward leagues. Grassroots. Every day you pass in the estates or villages, towns and cities, you see football being played. It's run by FKF. If it was a matter of money, if it was really a matter of money, where would you put that money to all these other leagues that we run?
Probably let's ask which
can
teams?
You give me also time to talk?
Yeah, as you say your sentiments, probably tell me which teams are on your pack, and also Assemble will say that after you.
He has talked of KPL Limited. KPL Limited is owned by the 16 clubs that are in the Premier League. Take note of that. And FKF, under the instigation of FKF, when they were elected, were given a special shareholding in KPL. A change that we had to go through and register, and we have a certificate from the Registrar of Companies which allows FKF to be a special shareholder of KPL Limited, which is owned by the 16 teams. Yes, the Vice President is talking about the members of the federation are the clubs.
And you had also talked about some money that goes the other side. Probably give some light on that.
Yes. When KPL Limited was formed by the 16 clubs, the organization that was in charge of football at that time was Football Kenya Limited. When Football Kenya Limited, and there was also KFF, but Football Kenya Limited was the one recognized by FIFA. And we, in our memorandum and articles, we say we'll register with the association recognized by FIFA. The FKL and FIFA and the ministry in Cairo agreed to form a limited liability company to run the Premier League. The shareholders being the 16 clubs, which up to now they are.
And now, Assemble, probably.
Yes.
Now, where does the rift come? Where did the rift come after all this?
I'm happy George is talking about articles and the objects and the memorandum of association of Kenyan Premier League Limited. Can he tell us whether in those articles there are no such objects such as harvesting sand, processing milk, importing vehicles, prospecting for oil?
I think Mr. Vice President, you are now being mediocre in that.
I'm saying it as it is. I'm saying it as it is. I'm saying it as it is. It is a legal document. The memorandum and article of association. Any first-year law student will tell you.
But let us. But where is the future of football, Kenya?
I know mediocre. But any first-year law student will tell you
we are talking about football here. We are talking about football here.
We are telling Kenyans. We are telling viewers the objects of this company limited goes beyond football.
Assemble. This issue is very serious. I know a lot of Kenyans are watching.
You ask me a question.
The question that you put it to him should have been straight and cut.
Let me tell you.
The problem was when Kenya Premier League registered it as a limited company to run the league, they forgot one thing together with FKL at the time. To sign a memorandum of understanding such that the federation would cede the rights to Kenya Premier League.
I think as we conclude, because of matter of time,
I can confirm that the memorandum of understanding has not been signed. This memorandum we've been discussing since 2012, and I've been part of that committee. And every time we come with a presentation, the federation changes goalpost. The last time, and that is we have in the minutes of the Joint Executive Committee where we agreed that let the other things in the memorandum continue pending signing. And that's how the license fee came in, which they have been accepting. Can you deny you have been accepting?
We've never received any license fee. We've never issued a seat for such.
No.
Let's take it easy, because as we conclude Assemble, where's the future of Kenya and what needs to be done?
Wahisi, I'm just speaking boldly. Wahisi, I'm just speaking boldly.
Yeah, as we conclude.
I'll speak boldly with all the confidence. With all the confidence that this entity called KPL Limited,
as you conclude,
as I conclude, we have engaged them to the level that up to and including 21st January, we had determined the way forward for 16 or 18 leagues. And I'm happy George is there because he was a member of my task force. Whereby we filled all the gaps that will have enabled us to take off for 18 teams. In fact, people ask, and I want to pose this question to Kenyans, if indeed really there was the situation that the teams will be 16 in 2015, would we be having all these meetings and all these FIFA interventions? The answer is no. We are having it because we are to move to 18 teams.
Your take is taken. As you conclude, Robin Toskin, and then we'll have George for the last remarks.
I think in every war, there's always a beneficiary. There's someone benefiting from all this war, and because of all this money. The only challenge that I want to put to the Kenya Premier League and the Federation is, who is in charge of running football officially in this country? Who does FIFA recognize? And secondly, what is the role of Kenyan Premier League
in ensuring that all these matters?
The federation is in place. Once we sort out that, I don't see any problem.
George, your last remarks.
Thank you. First, I'm surprised that the Vice President said they have never received any license fee from KPL, which is not true.
We're going to discuss that further in next discussion. So,
Toskin, responding to you, I believe you must have had a glance at the FIFA recommendation that came.
Yes, of course.
Yes, and it is there that FKF should license Kenya Premier League to run the Premier League.
It should license.
Yes,
we'll come back to that.
Was an agreement that had been reached before. What is surprising is that FKF wants to take the assets, but they don't want to take responsibility of any liabilities of the Football Kenya Limited, which was there before.
I think I'll have to cut you there because of a matter of time. Wilson, I think As you can see, this issue, it's a very, very heated discussion that needs more time, because we don't know where the future of Kenyan soccer is really, because FKF, KPL, we don't know if they'll ever eat on using the same plate. But I think this discussion, we're going to ensure that Kenyans need to at least get more educated and know what really is happening and troubling Kenyan soccer. Wilson.
Let's come back home, and following the claims by the great member of parliament Simba Arati that his life was in danger, a private developer whom he claimed had encroached on a 7-acre piece of land in Lavington has come out to respond. Ashok Shah, the man seen in the video yesterday having an altercation with Arati, says the MP is sending conflicting reports about the true ownership of the land. Ashok Rupi Shah has confirmed he indeed pulled out a gun, but insists that this was after Arati's bodyguard threatened to shoot him.
Simba Arati is giving a false story to media and police. What had happened, that what I know is Simba Arati, his intention was to extort money from the developer. He started threatening me that, Muindi, you have grabbed land. And then he started abusing me. So I told him, this is not the language suit to the leader, talk to the businessman like this. And for what? Then he just started abusing me. He said, I am taking over this property, this is a public land, this is that, what not he was talking. So I said, okay, if you are taking over, if you have a right, you do legally whatever you can do. What had happened during that time, he is the one who instructed his bodyguard to scare me. So his bodyguard is the one who pulled gun first and was trying to scare me. So I said, I am also armed, to remind him that I am also armed and don't try to threaten me, I am not fearing you.
Thanks for staying with us, and welcome to KTN Business. Now, have you ever wondered what really goes into the pricing of that house that you've had your eye on for a while? While location, cost of land and construction do happen to be key determinants, it is the extra features that come with a house that are the key drivers of the urban housing market. The inaugural Housing Price Index that was developed by the Kenya Bankers Association indicates that home buyers are ready to pay more for larger space, a swimming pool and even balconies. And as Charles Gitonga reports, the index will serve as a risk management tool for banks and those providing mortgages, as well as mapping trends.
Home ownership remains a mirage for many Kenyans due to the high cost of procuring one, but those who can afford it are going for something out of the ordinary. A swimming pool, backyard, garage, balcony, gym, master ensuite, a separate dining area, a guest room, or even the number of bedrooms are some of the features discerning home owners want to find in their new home. The Housing Price Index by the bankers recognizes these features as some of the major factors influencing movement of housing prices, amid others like location and access to social amenities.
Location is very critical, but there's more to it than just a location. It depends on what type of house.
The index, which tracks movement of housing prices on quarterly basis, shows that overall prices rose by 29.04% in the third quarter of 2014, the highest in that year. Between the second quarter of 2013 and third quarter of 2014, the price of apartments rose by 12.22%, bungalows by 10.25%, and that of maisonettes by 5.67%. Other types of houses, such as townhouses and penthouses, maintained their price for the better part of the period.
This is how the overall index looks like on a quarterly basis. But when you look at the annual changes, you'll find that the movements are much more mild.
Another notable highlight in the index is the buyer's preference for old houses, which sit on large pieces of land with a view of redeveloping them into apartments. The Kenya Bankers Association is confident that this independent price monitor will help policymakers to take a broader view of the changes in the economy. The Central Bank of Kenya, for example, relies on the Consumer Price Index, private sector credit data and other developments in the global economy to formulate policy, but does not refer to housing prices due to lack of reliable housing price index. KBS index will also help investors and banks manage their risks in terms of mortgage financing and use of property as security for credit.
It will be a useful risk management tool for the financial market players and banks in particular, who not only finance home development and ownership, but also take such property as collateral for other credit.
The tool will also be important for non-financial players who wish to invest in the real estate sector. Charles Gitonga, KTN Business.
So it looks like having a pool in your backyard is not just good for your health, it's also good for your asset portfolio. Now, the construction industry in Kenya has been characterized as a hive of activity as mega infrastructure projects take shape. Now, this ongoing spend is pitting local and foreign contractors against each other in the scramble to take part in the projects. But just how are the local contractors faring in the development agenda? Well, we sought the views of some local contractors and they had this to say.
Engineers are busy at work at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, busy putting final touches at the airport's new terminal. The terminal is built to have cost 1.7 billion shillings, and it is one of the structures that stand out at the country's largest airport. It is here that we meet up with one of the players in the local construction industry. Kariuki Deuri has been in the construction business for nearly 15 years. His firm, Q Construction, has not had a good run in the past few years, but now the tide seems to be changing.
You've seen we have done all the civil works pertaining to this Terminal 2. That is the sewage, the parking, and the foundation for the building, and all the other civil works you can see around it. This goes a long way to show that local contractors can actually partner with foreign contractors and deliver projects on time and a good project.
Deuri, who is part of the team building the second terminal at JKIA, says that local contractors are gradually beginning to handle mega projects. This, he says, is a breakaway from the past.
When you look at local contractors, the projects that they are given are usually poor funded. That is the issue. If you give a local contractor a project that is properly funded like this one, where the payments were on time, you can't see any shady job here, can you?
Initially, a number of local construction firms got blacklisted for undertaking substandard work, while some even shut down. Deuri's story is shared by many. Kinchan Singh Gelot, who runs Intex Construction, is one of the other local construction firms that have witnessed a comeback. The firm has been able to grow threefold following its successful bidding to construct key infrastructure projects in the country.
If local contractors are incorporated in projects that are mega, one of the things is that they'll also be doing mega projects. They'll have good money, they'll invest in equipment, and they'll definitely become big. And even their work ethics will change.
The growth of homegrown farms, according to Deuri, remains critical for the construction industry, which Kenya is hinging its economic growth on. Figures from the Kenya Economic Survey show that construction industry grew to 5.5% in 2013 compared to the 4.8% recorded in 2012.
Kenya Sports Federation that failed to beat the 2014 August registration deadline set by the sports registrar have been warned that they should count themselves non-existent until they register their organizations. Speaking during a workshop for the sports stakeholders to draft the rules and regulations that will guide the sports registrar office in implementing the Sports Act that came to law in 2013, sports registrar Rose Wasike revealed that only 6 federations beat the deadline. After its implementation, the Sports Act required sports federations in the country to be registered afresh. The meeting between sports registrar and the stakeholders was meant to come up with a document that will guide the registration and the implementation of the Sports Act.
And those ones who didn't make an application to my office by 1st August 2014, they ceased to pay sports organizations as per the Sports Act of 2013.
Protect your family against disease-causing insects. Act early with a solution for more teen doom. Brand Power, helping you buy better.
Well, it's time to wind up the bulletin, but let's remind you of our big question tonight as well as give you the results, the poll results. We did ask you whether you believe, you think the governors should continue with their push for a referendum now that they have been given 258 billion shillings. The results are on your screen.
Yes, they are. We've got 68% of you saying yes, you think the referendum push is still necessary, and 32% of you said no. Let's take a look at this SMS, and this one is a no. It says, can you tell the difference between a fox and a wolf, yet they both have bushy tails? Actually, the fox is smaller than the wolf and will be inferior. Okay, I think this is going somewhere. And you say, however, if the wolf decides to share the thicket with the fox, do you think the fox will think beyond that moment? What is in law reigns supreme and is compulsory. So this is not in favor of this continued push for more money.
Absolutely not. Let's get
I'm not sure I got the fox thing.
Let's get a more direct one here. From Wandolo O. Levis, who says, yes, increase. Now let's take another one here from Richard Omwanga, who says, no, the structures are lacking. Let's fast sort that out.
Okay. And another yes here. This is more than enough. If they can't account for the little that they have already, why should they be given this big, large amount of money to steal? And that's a question.
At OT Vike says, no, some of them are just having a platform for more politicking.
And this one from Milton Joroge in Kikuyu Town. Thank you for your SMS. You say, not at all. The government has done its best, and so the governors should get back to their respective counties and work.
Let's take a last one here from Daniel Odiba, who says, no, a referendum is not a solution to more funds allocation to the counties.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your opinions with us this evening and for being a part of KTN Prime. Coming up is JKL, Jeff Koinange Live, and tonight a very special guest, former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo on the show tonight. That's definitely one you don't want to miss.
Very interesting discussion there you expect with Jeff, especially coming on the back of the proposal to form an African Court of Justice.
Absolutely. I'm sure they'll have a lot to talk about.
Well, from here at the KTN Standard Group Center on Mombasa Road, very good night to you. See you tomorrow. My name is Wilson Bull.
Mirisha Oiti was our sign language interpreter tonight, and I'm Nancy Kachingira. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Enjoy your viewing.